I never dreamt that this little seed of this group that we formed would grow to affect so many lives.
Things that you don't really recognize at the time, small things, how they can really turn into something meaningful in your life, which this organization is to me now, being able to be a part of it and support it and help out any way that I can.
When Lauren was in the hospital the first time, she missed her friends terribly and wanted to be at school, and she wanted to visit them, so it was just as painful on her as it was them. Everybody really wants to help her and wants to help out, and this is a great way for them to get involved, have fun doing it, and make an impact.
Lolo's Angels was started by the Hacker family because their daughter had AML leukemia. And that right there puts the entire focus on curing this disease because it's personal. And I love that. I love the fact that I can be a part of that, and I see that passion every day. And I know the board members and Leslie and Phil and Lolo, they would do anything to make this dream come true.
I think that, being a kid that had cancer is one component of her identity, but what she gravitates to on that identity is that she's a fierce little warrior. And, she doesn't ever see herself as a victim, and she's not. I mean, she had cancer, but now what else is there out there for her? So Lauren is 2 years out of her cancer treatment and she's in remission, but we did find out that she does have damage to the left ventricle of her heart. And so she has a cardiologist, and she started on heart medication just a few weeks ago. The fact is, Lauren did survive it. She didn't survive it once. She survived it twice. Our goal is to make it so that more kids survive this cancer, and hopefully all cancers. And in addition, that we find treatments that don't damage them, so that they don't just survive their cancer, but they thrive and enjoy their life.
When little Sabrina was sent home on hospice, and they really said there's nothing more we can do for her. And this is a precious little 3-year-old who's already had a bone marrow transplant. She's had AML since she was an infant, and they're saying this is the end of the road. And through our foundation and through Leslie's reaching out to them, asking if you have it in you, one more fight, we can connect you to Dr. Mashinshi in Seattle. And God love her, the mother had it in her, and they got this child out there, and she's in remission. I mean, that child would not be here today if it wasn't for Lolo's Angels. And that just keeps me going every day. And knowing that she's not the only one. There are many more cases of children, and God willing, there will be hundreds more, thousands more, that we will literally be able to save.
The idea of community, it really, I think it's what kind of keeps something like this driving and going forward, and keeps us motivated as well. Not knowing that not only do we have an effect on kind of what's immediate around here, but everyone else around the Omaha area and regionally, and hopefully nationally as well.
Hi, I'm Richard.
I'm Stephanie, and this is Crew. Crew is almost a year old. In 2 weeks, he'll be a year. The first year with Crew has been amazing. It's been challenging, but we want to change it for the world. We noticed there were some spots on his body. They just looked a little funny, and so we took him to the doctors, and they drew his blood and actually came back normal. So she had us go to a dermatologist, and they took a biopsy of the one on his knee because it was bigger than the rest. And then 9 days later is when we found out. Hearing your child has cancer is probably the worst thing that you'll ever hear in your entire life.
I worked with Richard, and he kind of left all of a sudden. And then I got home, and Stephanie had talked to Holly, so that's when I found out for sure what was going on. We just saw them the night before, and Crew was acting completely healthy, so it was just kind of surreal that last night was perfectly normal night, and the next day their world's flipped upside down.
Yeah, we found Lolo's Angels through just kind of asking around at the hospital, and one of the nurses said you might want to check out Lolo's Angels, so we reached out to them, and Lolo's Angels responded right away. It was amazing.
So the bone marrow drive we did for them, I think we had 125 people sign up. It was kind of neat to see so many people that wanted to support, and nobody at this time, it was very early on in their fight, so nobody really knew what to do. Everybody wanted to help, but nobody knew the best way to do it. So this was a great way to get all their support pointed in one direction, and it was just great to see.
You know, you meet a lot of people that, and you see their success stories, and you're like, if they can do it, you know, we can do it. And then eventually, you know, we were on the last round, and we're like, he's gonna do this, he's gonna make it. And when they come in and say his counts are high enough, you get to go home, and you're done. You almost don't believe it. You're like,
It's surreal, a little surreal.
We had to take our baby boy home, and now we're home, and he's gonna turn 1, and we're just so happy to celebrate everything that we've been through.
People still don't believe it. It's almost like we're talking about Oz, can't cure cancer. When I go to the AML steering committee, I'm seeing change. In fact, 5 years ago when Lauren was first treated with cancer, there wasn't this certain drug that was available. So when she relapsed by 8th grade, she was on mitoxantrone for her relapsed leukemia. And they were only using it for kids that were relapsed. Well, when Crew went through treatment, think about this. This is only a year and a half later. Mitoxantrone was now part of regular therapy. So in the 5 years that Lauren's been treated, drugs are actually starting to move onto the market, whereas when Lauren started treatment, the drugs that she was put on were 40 years old. So that's happening in real time with this disease. That's cool. That's cool.
So Lolo's Angels was created to help drive change in pediatric AML treatment and outcomes. And in our own way, we've helped achieve that for families right here in Nebraska. And it's particularly gratifying when you consider that Lolo's Angels is a 100% volunteer organization. We have no administrative overhead fees. So every donation that we receive is applied directly to research, and it's driving those results that we're all after.
So that small, donation that you think at the time, may not make much of a difference, that could have so many more effects than what you could possibly perceive. And that's kind of what you want to do with something like this, in my opinion, is inspire other people that will kind of reflect your generous actions and inspire them to act themselves.
We're so thankful for every person that's ever donated to Lolo's Angels, because it is making a huge impact on this devastating disease through the research that's being done. I also noticed that anytime somebody comes out and volunteers for any of our events, the toy drive or any of our bone marrow drives, that they walk away feeling so good because they've really seen the heart of Lolo's Angels.
Do you have a big hope of all of this?
I'm waiting to find that cure, because then I want to make our group obsolete. I want us to not be needed anymore.
That's cool. Until then?
Until then, I'm going to fight as hard as I can.